What is happening, J Gamer Dude here, and I've been looking forward to Stellar Blade. I wonder if there's a lot of other people who are also looking forward to this game as much as I am, because I think I've been as excited pretty much as soon as that game was announced. However, it had been years since we actually heard anything about it, so it's cool to now have the game release. And I know that this video is going to be incredibly late, but this is more so from an outsider's perspective on the subject in question. But before I jump into it, I do want to ask in the comments below if you could chuck in whether or not you were excited for Stellar Blade pre-release, because I know for a fact I am. In fact, I have my physical copy right into my hand right now, and it's good to see that it only takes up a good 35 gigs rather than anything more than that for how good the game looks. With that being said, let's actually jump into the topic of conversation, which is regarding Sony removing Stellar Blade's unintentional N-word reference in Stellar Blade. And I thought to myself, there's gotta be some sort of mistake, some misunderstanding, or something along those lines. No, actually it didn't even load, god damn it. Okay, here we go. So pretty much this is a screenshot right here where it says the graffiti hard. So it's just a pink and white piece of graffiti with the word hard, and then right next to it is the sign called our shop. So this is where you kind of do requests and things like that in a relatively open space or open area that's accessible much later in the game. And what I didn't know, apparently, and I could be completely wrong about this, hard R is in fact a slang in American language to refer to people of darker skin color. Specifically, well, people would use the N-word to describe them. Now, I think the N-word is far more universal than a term like hard R. And I wish I didn't know this, but I actually had to do some research to double check and make sure, hold on, am I actually looking at this right? So what I did was I googled it, hard R slang, and then immediately on the third thing that came up was actually the N-word in Wikipedia. And so I thought to myself, okay, that's interesting. And then the next one was about the, I want to say drama, but it wasn't really a drama, it was just a misunderstanding, I guess, with Linus Tech Tips regarding a time in which he said that he used, like someone, his co-host asked him, have you ever used the hard R? And then he said he did. And then I went into this Reddit post thinking, okay, what could it possibly be? And then this individual said, am I the only African American viewer who thought hard R was the R word, or am I Forrest Gump? The R word that he's thinking of is the lack of mental deficiency word that starts with R that I for some reason cannot say one on YouTube because America exists, because it's a word that I would have been more than happy to use otherwise. But yeah, so yeah, the mental deficiency kind, not the race kind, just to put that out there. But yeah, so, and that's kind of the same confusion that happened between Linus and the other host of the WAN show where this drama happened, or this mistake, or whatever you want to call it. And then he said, no, so the host said, no, it's the race kind. And then Linus was like, oh, it's not the mentally deficient kind, so fair enough. And then being an outsider, someone who is not American, if I heard the term hard R, I think maybe a movie is rated R, because like in the country that I live in, New Zealand, we do have R ratings for movies. So it would be like G for general audiences, PG for just parental guidance recommended. Then you'd have M for just mature, but anyone can still watch those movies if you go to the movies. It's just ideally you want to go with grown up. And then the ones in which you have to show your ID are R13, R16, and R18. Where R13, you need to be 13 years or older to show some sort of ID just to show, yeah, you are at least 13. 16, same idea, except you have to be 16 or over, and 18 for you have to be 18 or over to be able to watch that movie at the cinemas or buy that game in a shop or something. Same thing applies there. So the term hard R is specifically used in American culture and in America because apparently they've got racial issues that are so ubiquitous that they have like these random terms that somehow happen to get into Stellar Blade, which I'm pretty sure is just an accident. However, it is being patched out by force through Sony, so that's part of the reason why I got a physical copy of the game, so that I can play the 1.0 release or the original version. So I can just turn off the internet on my PS5, chuck in the disc, and just start playing. Like there's no worry there, there's no issue there. It's just interesting to know that this conversation is what made me pick up the game physically rather than digitally. And on top of that, I think I got like a $20 to $25 discount anyways off the game. So in a way, I kind of did benefit by getting a physical copy. So as an outsider, I think that you would need to be mentally deficient to consider hard R to mean anything race related. And that's just from my perspective as someone who is A, not an American, and B, is of a darker skin tone than most people. But even so, you know, like I'm not dark enough to where you'd refer to me with the N-word. That much is for sure. That is very much for sure. So I thought, this kind of sounds really dumb, and maybe I might be the only one who thinks that way, but no, it's just Americans in their echo chamber, because I was like listening to podcasts about people talking about the sort of issue or making videos about it, and yeah, they seem to think that like, oh no, this is, how did this get through certification and things like that, or how did it get through localization? But the thing is that I feel like Americans have their head up their ass so much that they're kind of being able to see their own colon at this point, because while a game is made for the masses, America as a nation by itself is not the only country that exists in the world. Sure enough, there can be things like, for example, Fallout 3, which had a nuded version in Australia that removes any sort of reference to drugs because they don't allow that in Australia. But that's a thing for the ratings board. However, the ratings board of America thought that is fine. That this image that they're showing about like how, if I just bring up the image again, that this image here is okay for the M rating. Fair. Like, again, where's the issue in that? It's just American culture, and then because Sony moved their offices to San Fran or somewhere in America though, can't remember where, back in like 2016, 2017ish, that is probably the only reason why, was just because reviewers saw it, and reviewers were mostly American, so they kind of were like, you know, like how it says here with Lance McDonald, Stellar Blade embargo is up, so I can finally show you the hard R Graffiti Lamau wonder when how long this will take to get patched out. And yeah, sure enough, it is going to be patched out as part of the day one update. But in addition to the day one update, you've got like, you know, New Game Plus, outfits and things like that. So at least like there's some new content in there. And instead it's going to be Crime R instead. Apparently that is some other... Apparently that's another reference to another slur apparently that I don't really know about, but I'm not going to look too deeply into that. It's just I thought, hey, this is a thing that's happening, this is incredibly dumb, let's Google around and have a look around to see what the internet kind of thinks about it. And most people just have no clue what the hell is going on, or have any idea, or are tuned in, or aren't even on the internet so much that they feel like they're so internet pilled in the mind right now that they're kind of thinking, yeah, sure, I guess, maybe, whatever. I feel like this is just a whole lot of hoopla around nothing. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it was just to talk about how absolutely dumb it is that this is even a conversation that is happening. And it's all because of surrounding the idea of the Americanization of things. Because ideally, less censorship the better. But there also needs to be some level of reasonableness. If you've seen some of the most, ridiculously over-the-top, disturbing movies of all time, like Martyrs and things like that, The Angel as well, and even a Serbian film, I'm just going down a path now at this point. It's okay to have censorship to some extent, but just be reasonable about it, that's all. This was just, really, really stupid, and because it's stupid and I'm stupid, obviously I am going to talk about it, so why the hell not? Let's just kind of do some unnecessary extra research to Google, hey, what does hard R mean? And even Google is struggling to understand, as it is created by an American company. So, with all of that being said, let me know how absolutely stupid this is in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. If you are within America, let me know what you guys think about the term hard R. And if you're outside of America, even better, chuck that into the comments below. Would be very interested to know about it. But with all of that said and done, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.